welcome to this video and welcome back to my shed. Last week had a problem with the throttle cable on the lawnmower and I didn't video that, so this week when I started it I noticed that the cable was frayed on the lawnmower, and so I thought, no, I've got to fix that. I'll do a quick video on that under tips and tricks. If you've got any of these, you'll know what they are. They're hemostats. If you haven't got any, I suggest you get on eBay and buy a couple because they're really useful in the shed. And today I'm going to show you how to use these to save yourself a lot of time when you have to change the starter rope on a Briggs Stratton lawnmower. Okay, so our problem is this, that the zip starter rope is frayed on the mower. You have to get this bit off to do it, but I'm going to show you how to change it quickly without taking out the center hub there. If you can't get to this point, maybe of course you shouldn't be doing this type of maintenance, but if you feel confident enough to give it a go, that's what you've got to take out. We'll go back into the shed. So what you would normally do is you take this hub out, replace the rope, rewind it and put it back in. But I find an easy trick with the hemostats here. So I'll pull the rope out, so it's out all the way, and so it's just there in line with where the cable threads in is where the end of the rope is, obviously. Okay, what I do is take a couple of these hemostats, and I put them in here, clip them on the metal and lock them in. They're like a little vise. So I put two in there just in case, well, one slips up. Okay, so now I'm free to let go of the rope and it's all wound up, and all I have to do is pull this through, and so we'll get a new cable onto this. So perhaps you need a set of scissors or something to cut the cable. Cable out now. So now you've got to get a new length of that, obviously. Now the other thing that hemostats come in handy for is doing things like this, so reaching in and pulling the cable out or something like that. So that's why I said if you haven't got one of these, or several of them, get some. You've also got that on the end of that, that's to stop it going all the way in, because the starter is actually held higher up on the handle, so we'll have to pull that over. Let's see. Now the pressure's on with the filming. I don't cut my finger off, of course. Out. Work out how to get the cable back in there. Alright, so now we'll get a new length of cable. It's roughly the same size. The cable size or thickness will vary depending on your particular lawnmower. I'm not sure what this stuff is. It's about 2mm. 2, 3. I'll come back in a second when I've got this all unwound. Okay, so alright, so now I've got a piece of rope to make sure I put the right one back in it. That one's burnt on the edge. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually thread that back into the handle. Don't throw that away just yet. I'll need there, so put that in there, and I'm going to use my hemostats again to reach in and grab the end of that cable. Pull it there. if you can see. Hang on. Anyway, can't see in there. Not enough stops of light in the eye. You pull that out. Alright, so for that, of course, you're then going to tie a knot in the end of that, which you don't want to come off. And then you can put that back down in the hole there, so that's nice and tight. Okay, so we need to measure from the that end there, that's the end where that clean bit is. So that's about here on the rope, and so that's where we put our ferrule, I think these are called, ferrule. I'll just lock that in. A specific tool for that, but I'm use those. Alright, so then you're going to have to heat this up to get the end there. It's hot plastic, so be careful when you do that. Okay, now we're going to thread this in from the normal eyelet that we do, and of course there it comes out. You can once again grab your and we've got to put another knot in that. It's still pretty hot actually. Now that should be enough to hold it. Release your two hemostats. That in and just let it wind itself back in. And there you go. You didn't have to pull anything apart. That's the cheats way. Let's put it back on the mower and see if we can start. I'd recommend giving this a blowout. I've got a compressor, so I gave this all a blowout in here before. Get rid of all the grass and any grease or anything that's in there. It'll help your lawnmower keep cool for a long time, and it'll lessen the maintenance that you have to do. So. Okay, this is what I was talking about before. That's why I have the ferrule on the starter back there, because this is on high. Starter nice and high, so you can start it easily. And there you go. Let's see. Here's the start. So thanks for coming along for that simple fix today. So that's just some tools you need to keep if you've got a lot of power sort of tools for the garden, lawn mowers, whippersnippers, that sort of thing, and you have to change these on occasions. They do wear out. So some pull rope, and yeah, so you saw how handy these hemostats were. They're not very expensive. Just go out and buy some. I've got a whole range of them in different sizes, and they're not very expensive. So get yourself some of those. Thank you for coming along today. We'll see you next time.